Okay, thanks very much for joining us. This is Call 1 webinar briefing on the Green Enterprise Pilot Scheme. Let me just get my slides working here. So first of all, I'm Paul McNamara, the Project Manager on the Green Enterprise Support Scheme. I'm joined here by my colleagues Mel Gavin and Patrina McCarthy, and also online by our colleagues in the North West Regional Assembly, Yvette, Ciara and Paddy. Thank you all for joining. I'm just going to go through a few housekeeping things first, and then we'll get into it. We have quite a few slides. I see somebody already has their hand up. There will be time for questions and answers at the end. So if it's okay, we'll wait till then. If you have any comments, you can put it in the comment or the Q&A section. So some housekeeping. This is going to be recorded. We're going to put out the video later on, and anyone who's registered will get the slides and the recording, a link to the recording of the video. All attendees' cameras and mics are muted. We can unmute at the end for Q&A if needed. Please submit your questions through the Q&A function or by adding a comment. There is also a separate frequently asked question document available. I'll show you where to get all these files as we go through the presentation. So we will just kick off. So again, welcome. Again, my name is Paul McNamara. I'm here in the ATU. I'm joined by my colleagues in the NWRA, as said before, and we'll get straight into it. So our agenda for today is going to be our welcome, which we've already done. We're going to talk about what is the Green Enterprise Pilot Scheme, who can apply, and then the two different grants available from this fund, the training and upskilling support and the project grant. And then we're going to end with a Q&A. Hope that's okay for everyone. So we'll kick off. We have quite a few slides to get through. So what is the Green Enterprise Pilot Scheme? So the Green Enterprise Pilot Scheme is two grants for SMEs based in the Northern and Western region. It's developed to demonstrate an advanced, innovative, low carbon technologies, products, processes and services. There is a separate training and upskilling fund available through this fund as well. Again, I'll break these down further as we go down. It's delivered by the ATU, the Atlantic Technological University, as intermediate body, and it is designed and managed by the Northern and Western Regional Assembly. This is funded under the Northern Western Region Programme 2021 to 2027 and co-funded by ERDF, the European Regional Development Fund. So when we were looking at developing this program, we were looking at where the need was. So again, I'll go through this in more detail as we go down, but it was very clear that there was a lot of support available for early stage development. So there's great supports available from Enterprise Ireland and the local enterprise offices and the leader companies. And this was designed to fund the stage after that. So we'll go down and we'll talk about TRLs after this. So the project grant has funding between 30 and 150,000, and then the training and upskilling grant has an average of 2,000 per person who applies. Multiple people from each organisation can apply. So let's get into it. As mentioned, just to make it clear, the managing authority on this project is the Northern and Western Regional Assembly. The intermediary body is the ATU, and the beneficiaries are the eligible SMEs. Here is our timeline. There we are at the start on the 29th today at this webinar. And as you can see, we're kicking off with the first group of one-to-one online clinics tomorrow. They are filling up fast. So after this, if you feel like you want to register, I would urge people to do it quickly. There will be an opportunity for further online clinics as the need comes in. So there will be, you'll see an email throughout the slides for us to contact us, and we will be collating them, and then we'll be arranging more online webinars as needed. If you are an organisation who works with SMEs and you would like us to do a similar talk to this, maybe a condensed one, please contact us and we can pop out and either do an in-person or an online briefing. So as you can see there, from the 5th to the 13th, we have in-person clinics across the region, Sligo, Donegal, Monaghan and Galway. For further calls, we will be going to other locations across the region. We're just kicking off with them. Query cutoff is 28th, and then the deadline, you're going to hear me say this a lot throughout the presentation, is the 4th of September at 5 p.m. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go through who can apply. and it is SMEs in the Northern Western region. And I'm going to go down and break them down. I'm going to say them here as well, but it's Cavan, Donegal, Monaghan, Leitrim, Sligo, Roscommon, Galway. Projects must be delivered in the region. That doesn't mean that the supports have to be gathered from the region, so you can use expertise from outside the region. Actively trading for the whole process of this grant. TRL levels, as I said, we'll touch on this later on, but you must have completed up to TRL 3. So you must be out of that research stage and into that development stage. A genuine innovation focus, S3 alignment, and this program is administered through de minimis state aid. Again, I have another slide on this afterwards, and we'll go into more details on it. So first one, SME. So do you have less than 250 staff? Have you equal or less than 50 million annual turnover? Equal or less than 73 annual balance sheet total, okay? This includes all partners and linked entities. This is an important one for any big companies out there that are looking at this. Has to take in all of them. And as you can see there down at the bottom, you've got the eligibility, you've got limited, DAC, sole trader, partnership, cooperative. This is, as long as you're an SME, any of them are applicable. So into de minimis is 300,000. That's the ceiling, so up to that you can receive on a rolling 3-year basis, not fixed to a fiscal year. So as part of the application for this, we're asking you to self-declare your state aid. So if you think you were near that, please check it before applying. And just remember that's all member states, not just Ireland. So again, back to the region. I've already listed it, but I'm going to list it again. So it is for SMEs within the region: Cavan, Donegal, Galway, Leitrim, Mayo, Monaghan, Roscommon, and Sligo. Now, under the TRL levels, so as I said, for this grant, you must start at 4 and get to at least TRL 6. So you can see there, it's grayed out 1 to 3. That's the research phase. So we would like you to have your research done, and this is to help you fund the next stage of that. So on the next slide here, and as part of our Call 1 documents, you'll find this in there. There's a more detailed information on TRL levels, and it's on Appendix 1 in the Call document 1. But you can see this very clearly states, you know, TRL 4, that's the minimum starting point. You can start higher up. And by the end of the project, you must get to a TRL 6 or above. So you could start at 5 and end up with an 8. Again, the Call 1 document has more information on all of this. So funding under the 2 grant schemes. So the Green Enterprise, or GEPS as we call it for short, offer 2 grants. So you've got the training and upskilling, and on average that's up to €2,000 per person. And we welcome more than one person from one entity. It covers 80% of the eligible costs. We'll go through that on the next few slides. Then there's the grant program, which ranges from 30,000 to 150,000, and there's 3 tiers on that. Again, we'll have more information as we go down through here. And it also covers up to 80% with a 20% own contribution. Okay, training and upskilling support. So as I said, a little bit more detail on the training and upskilling. So as I said, it's 80% funded, and on average up to 2,000 per person. Can be from more than one person from one company or organization. It covers cost, certification, exam fees. It does not cover travel, subsistence, or any recoverable VAT. It must be linked to a green skill, and it must better your business and your service offering. And again, multiple people from the one company can apply, and we welcome applications for just this grant. So you don't have to apply for the project grant, and this can be separate. If your company requires some training or upskilling, you can apply just for this. And as I said, multiple people from one company can apply. So the process is you apply, you get approved, you book and pay for the training, and you claim it back. Please do not book anything before you get approved for the grant. So moving on to the project grant. So this is rehashing what we said at the start. It's for SMEs in the Northern and Western region to develop and bring to market innovative low carbon technologies, products, processes and services. Grants range from 30,000 to 150,000, 3 tiers, which we'll see on the next slide. And you must have achieved a TRL level 3 previous to this, experimental proof of concept. So it's from TRL 4 up and must achieve a minimum of TRL 6 by the end of the project. And as you can see there, it's 60% ERDF funding and 40% national co-funded. So breaking down the tiers, tier 1 is 30,000 to 60,000. Tier 2 is 60,000 to 100,000. Tier 3 is 100,000 to 150,000. As the company, you tell us which tier you're applying for. Because of how open this is, it really is up to you to decide how much money you think you will need to progress your project from that 3 to 6. And as I said before, it's 80% funded, 20% of own contribution, and then there's a 7% flat indirect cost budget as well. The next slides have a few examples on that after I go through what's eligible and what's not eligible. So eligibility, so staff costs, external expertise, equipment, materials, subcontracting that. And as I said, the next 2 slides have examples on that. What's not, staff, travel and subsistence, the acquisition of land and buildings, and so on. So in our Call 1 document pack, there's an Excel document to help people work out their project costs. So this is an Excel document where you fill in your costs related to the different sections. As you can see there, training and upskilling, this is not required for that. So that's grayed out. You do not fill in that for this. And there's a working example here where this project is. So you fill in your amounts that you need and it calculates your eligible direct costs. The 7% is added onto it. And then you'll see the breakdown of the 80-20 split. And again, as I said, this own contribution is can include staff costs, staff time. So if you're bringing equipment or staff costs to the project, that can go towards your 20%. And again, as I said, this is in the Call 1 document pack, which I'll show you where to download. It's GEPS Budget Calculator version 1. So how to apply? For both grants, you apply by email to greenenterprise@atu.ie. Again, the deadline, the 4th of September 2026. There's important dates. You're going to hear me say that quite a lot throughout this, 4th of September 2026. And you can see down here at the bottom, we've laid out the entire process. So for the grant, the evaluation and marking is going to be as following. So all applications must get 50% on each individual category. Okay, so you have to get, so you can see there 20, 20, 30 and 30. So you have to get 50% of 20 to progress on to the next 20%, and then 60% overall for the markings to go forward. So that's the, if you're under that, that's it. So I hope that's clear. I'll say that one more time. So applicants must reach 50% in each individual category, and then overall 60% of all the marks to move forward. Again, all of this and more detail on this is in the Call 1 document. As you can see, there's a breakdown here on this image to the right. So getting more help, as I said, we are out and about, we are here to help. So the ATU team, myself and Katrina, will be out and about around the region, and we will be available online. So at the moment, these are the list of clinics we have arranged. There will be more if the need is, if there is a need for it. So please reach out to us. You'll see our email at the end of this, greenenterprise@atu.ie. So this is the kickoff. This is the 29th. This is the call opening. Tomorrow we have a one-to-one online clinic. And then we're in ATU Sligo on the 5th. On the 6th, we're in ATU Donegal. And on the 11th, we're in the Station House in Monaghan. And on the 13th, we're in ATU Galway. All of these you have to register in advance. we will be sending out these slides. Here's the link to register. You can also find it on the ATU CRU Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So to rehash, all of this information and more is available on the ATU project website. Again, this will be sent out. There is a link to the website. It is atu.ie/green enterprise. And if anyone is thinking of applying and wants more information, we have a list of documents there that can be downloaded. In the case where anything I've said here is different than the Call 1 document, the Call 1 document is the document you should reference. That's just a little caveat from myself. And I'd like to thank you very much. We're going to move on to Q&A. And as you can see there, as I said, here is our email address. If you have any questions, you want to talk more about this, if you're thinking about applying, send us an email and we can set up a call. We're trying to collate, we're quite busy with queries already. So we're trying to collate all the questions and the requests for meetings so that we can try to arrange them all in one day to get everyone seen. So thank you very much. Again, deadline is Friday, the 4th of September at 5 o'clock. Please remember that.